Hi, everybody.
Ooh, we didn't do hello.
We didn't do hello. No, I went hi, everybody. I don't know
We
why.
only have one thing scripted for this entire thing, and it's we say hello at the beginning of
We
every
do.
video.
Sorry, I went rogue. I don't know what happened.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Okay, we've done hellos.
Yes.
This is episode 4, and today we're talking about on-screen persona.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is on-screen persona?
Oh, right. Okay. So on-screen persona for me represents everything you want to portray in that video. So on-screen for me referring to the video. So what's the impression you want to get over? It covers everything from what you say, how you look, etc., etc. But it's all about you.
Yeah.
Is that fair without a line?
I think that's pretty much bang on in terms of, like you say, it's you as an individual, but you representing your company. If you look at, I suppose we look at the clothes we're wearing today.
Yeah.
So I know for me, I always like wearing a shirt because I feel it makes me look more professional.
It actually does. I wish you'd worn something on the bottom half, but
Yeah,
it
I
works.
mean, it's
We're not doing scripts. Okay.
Unscripted jokes again.
I'm kidding. No, absolutely. You look very smart. I'm kidding. He's wearing trousers. Don't worry. Right. So yes, shirt. You were just talking about this as to be part of your. Well, it's part of your brand. A shirt is essentially different from a t-shirt or a jumper or a jacket or whatever else. So that's a deliberate choice. How do you feel that fits in with regard to, I suppose, on a scale of casual to?
It's formal, yeah.
Formal. That's what I'm
formal,
looking. Yeah. So casual to formal.
I feel like this shirt for me, when I'm doing my videos, I think a lot of my audience already with the videos that I've done already have seen me in shirts, and comments that have been made to me is, "Oh, it'd be weird seeing you in a t-shirt because I've only ever seen you in a shirt."
Right.
So there's that element there for me, but I think on a scale, I'd probably say it's a 7 to an 8. I think obviously
so it's a 10 being formal.
10 being formal. Yeah, I think it's quite formal, but it's not like with a tie, and it's not a plain white shirt. And technically, this is a shirt that I shouldn't be wearing on camera, but we'll get into that later. Because there's actually something very technical about this. Probably, I don't know if it'll catch it on this camera, but we can talk about that anyway.
It looks beautiful.
It does look good. It does look good. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the shirt. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
This shirt makes you a narcissist.
But I feel like this helps me with my on-screen persona.
Okay.
I feel like it's on-screen persona to me is more about the confidence of you as a person when you're on camera, and how you talk and how you interact with other people, or how you just talk to the camera itself.
Right.
Because today you're wearing a hoodie. Yep. So what was your thinking about wearing a hoodie?
Well, let's see, there we go. So my hoodie says Nerducator, which is part of a brand. It's part of how a lot of people know me. Portmanteau of nerd and educator. So it became something that it was, I suppose, part of my origin story without making it too big. We'll get into that some other time. But it was just a brand that I started and I liked, and so I had it put on a hoodie. It's got some company branding on the back, so it became part of that persona. But for me, it's of a similar style. Maybe I'm down at a 6 or a 7, but it's definitely not formal. But because it's branded, I think you can push. You get a couple of extra formal points for it. So I'm wearing.
But I think
jeans.
as well, I was going to say for you though, because you're digital. There is that expectation when it comes to digital. I mean, I've had it said to me, it's like, video is digital. Yeah. Should you not be wearing trainers and a hoodie and that sort of thing? So I know that's what you embody. We've had conversations about this before. You're like, I'm digital. I can wear a hoodie. I can get away with that. Absolutely. But there's people that we know, between us, mutual friends, that they couldn't pull off a hoodie in terms of their business and what their brand values and what they represent. In terms of, I'm thinking straight off the bat, there's financial planner that we know. They couldn't get away with wearing a hoodie really if they're doing something like this, because there's almost like that perceived perception, so that they need to wear something much more in terms of like a 9 or a 10 on that formal scale, isn't there?
It's a 10, not a tux.
I suppose it could be. It could. Number 10's like.
If anyone wants to do lives wearing a tux, I welcome that as a concept.
It would be a next level kind of.
Yeah, you could make it into a brand for sure.
You could.
I suppose that's what I've done. Not to compare it to a tux, but that's what I've done with the hoodie. I've branded it. It's become part of a uniform. And so, if something's uniform, that you could have things that are traditionally less traditional. Sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. It's like a polo shirt. You can go, well, polo shirt's not formal. It's not professional. You go, actually, you stick your company logo on it. Suddenly, It's very different, isn't it? It's a uniform now. It's a very different vibe. I mean, that's the thing. It's the vibe. Certainly when I choose what I'm going to wear, I do, like if I'm making video content, I maybe put a bit more thought into it, but I think just generally, to be honest, I wear what I feel comfortable.
Yep.
And it's not so much what I can get away with. I like the hoodie. I like the t-shirts. but I wear a range of different things. Sometimes I wear shirts. We bumped into someone yesterday at the summit, and he pointed out that the jacket, I have a tweed jacket, and he said, well, that's part of your brand. And he got me thinking, I was like, actually, it's, from my perspective, it's not part of my brand. And yet every time he's seen me, coincidentally, I've been wearing that jacket. So I've almost accidentally created a persona, a brand. So now if he sees me not wearing that jacket, I wonder what he would think. It would be like people not seeing you in a shirt. Sorry.
So
it's a bit different. And there was one time, basically I was doing 2 things in one day, a morning training session, and I was going off to do a presentation thing at a hotel in the afternoon. The presentation was very formal, so I had to go suited and booted, and so I ended up doing a morning training session wearing a suit and boot. And now someone was there who was from a sort of I'm not sure how to describe it, but a company that helps you choose what to wear. So that kind of styling company, that's the best way to describe it. And coincidentally, she'd been on my training the day before, where I turned up in my traditional jeans and a Google shirt or something. And her perception of me was less credible the second day because I was wearing a suit. Because she'd known me for a while, she'd always seen me dress a certain way, behave a certain way, and then suddenly, because I was less comfortable in the suit and I've got the tie on and my shirt doesn't really fit properly, so I'm not as comfortable, she said, there was something very different about you today. You didn't embody your normal persona, and so it was wrong. And then I think that was the last time I ever wore a suit for training.
Wow.
It's not part of my brand, it's not part of who I am, it doesn't make any sense.
So the key takeaway for me from that, what you've just said there, is actually it's finding the clothes that you actually feel comfortable in. It's actually giving you a bigger step forward in terms of moving forward as your own persona.
Absolutely.
So suppose bringing that back to video and how we actually think about our own on-screen persona, it's almost making sure that we wear the clothes that we feel comfortable in. But I think there is an important element to make sure that your clothes kind of represent you as your business.
Absolutely.
I think there is wiggle room. I think there's times when you can get away with it. If, for argument's sake, you're at, I'm trying to think of an event. Like, let's talk about maybe an event. So maybe it's an awards ceremony. Okay. So if it was an awards ceremony, we probably would be in suits.
Yeah.
We would probably be wearing tuxes. So that would make it a 10 video.
Right.
That would make it
or an evening gown.
Yeah. Yeah. An evening gown. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's true.
Wear whatever we want. But yeah, absolutely. It'd be formal. Right? It's appropriate for the environment.
Yeah. But again, I think it's the reflection of the nature of the video.
Right.
Because if the video is something quite serious in terms of like the nature, I'm just going to pause my thought for a second. I'm going to explain why in 3, 2, 1. I wanted to make sure you could hear us while we were talking. I didn't want the car coming across.
We have closed off the street. I don't know how they got through.
I don't either.
We've got a filming permit here and everything.
Everything. So what were we talking about?
We were at an award ceremony.
Yes.
You're in a tux. I'm in an evening gown.
So yeah, it's actual. So in terms of the actual video itself, obviously the live video that you're creating, there needs to kind of be that correlation between the two.
Right.
So for argument's sake, let's say we're still wearing our tuxes, but we're at Glastonbury.
Right.
Okay. How weird would that look?
Do you see? Right, because it's Glastonbury, I don't think it would be that weird. But I take your point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate clothing, and I think something that I heard in what you were just saying is consistency. Sorry, struggling with the word there. Yeah. So I think if you're going to be on film, or you're going to be on camera, and then you're going to go meet people at a networking event or a client, you're going to go see them. There's really no point, I don't think, in kind of like making your video content, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna be wearing my shell suit, circa 1987. It's cool, don't worry, I have all the time for that. But if you then go for your meeting, and then you normally wear a suit, it doesn't make any sense. Or indeed vice versa. Don't dress up for your video, and then when you go to a networking event, we go meet people, you then dress more comfortably or more casually or whatever it might be. There's no point. It would seem really weird to me if I'd only ever seen you on video and you're always like shirt and trousers, and then you come over to meet us and you're wearing like shorts and flip-flops. Like, both are cool. I have no issue with it, but why change? Why pretend to be something you're not?
I think that comes back to as well, is kind of an audience expectation.
Mm-hmm.
An audience becomes accustomed to seeing somebody dressed in a certain way.
Yeah.
So if you think about Dermot O'Leary, I think he's a great example. So obviously we see him most Saturday nights on various different TV shows, but he's always wearing a shirt and tie. When you see pictures of him, say, in the press, and he's just wearing a t-shirt, how strange does that look?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're kind of getting to,
Absolutely.
is that point of that. It's kind of, your audience has a certain expectation. So when I think we're talking this kind of really down to that kind of minutiae point now, that you need to make sure that it's kind of that reflection of what people expect you to look like in terms of your industry and your sector. But if you are that little bit different, if you are a financial planner who happens to only wear tie-dye t-shirts, then that's your USP, that's your niche, and that works for you.
Yeah.
And that's going to really, I suppose, set you out from the crowd. But then if you're a financial planner, you've never worn a tie-dye t-shirt before, and you've done loads of videos of you wearing a shirt and tie, and all of a sudden you're doing that, and you talk about, you know, the latest mortgage rates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are going to talk about it, but are they going to talk about it for the right reasons?
Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, so it's just being consistent in your brand, being comfortable, and giving the right impression. So do you want to be super serious, not be taken super serious? That's different. I think we all want to be taken seriously, without doubt. But do you want to be seen as super serious? Is that the right alignment for your brand? Or do you want to be the other end of the scale? Does it want to be whimsical? You know, we've got some shared clients who do some sort of crazy creative things. One springs to mind about circus skills, right? Yeah. And so you've got that kind of crossover where you go, actually, I would feel, I don't say uncomfortable, that's the wrong word, but it would be weird for me to see them sort of dressed very corporately. Like, I just don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but that's for us as an audience, isn't it? So what we're kind of getting you to do now is think more about that, what your audience would be comfortable with. So it's making sure that the audience actually wants to watch our videos. We want to make sure that they're put at ease, because it's that first 3 seconds, isn't it? It's that, you know, we do it as human beings. We meet somebody for the first time, we make that judgment. So it's making sure that whoever's interacting with us as a brand, as our business, takes that time to go, you know what, yeah, okay, I want to listen to this person. They look like a person that I could identify with. We're just going to pause for 3, 2, 1. I'm so considerate of our audio. It's a different car, I think. Okay. I'm hoping it's a different car. It's still blue. I don't know. It could be different. It could be. I'm hoping it's
Let us know. Leave a comment. Was that the same car? Because we're not paying attention. If it is, get a registration. We'll go and visit.
That's right. Okay, so we've talked about clothing and how we make ourselves feel comfortable. How do you actually talk on camera?
How do I personally talk on camera?
Yeah.
Incoherently.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, I think I come across very animated and very passionately. But I know that we worked on a project. In fact, the first project we worked together on, where you made a video
the
for
very
us.
First project.
Yeah, it was ages ago.
It was actually
several years ago.
Yes.
Nice.
Always on the cell.
And you interviewed me, and I talked about what we were doing. And I remembered sort of one of the first bits of feedback that I gave was, when I was doing it, I felt that I was coming across very, very passionately, very animated. But when I watched it back, I was like, oh, actually, I feel I'm looking much more docile than I thought I was. And that's something that I think you gave me some guidance on the time that I think everyone should hear.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do?
So it's this horrible thing that people hate doing this, but it's I think James coined it very perfectly just before we started the live. And it's dialing it up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's that bigger version of ourselves. So we start with the big hello, or, well, it's supposed to be a big hello. Sometimes you go rogue and mess everything up. But dialing up to that point brings the energy up, and you're actually talking much more animatedly. Now, for Amy watching us, it's probably a little bit uncomfortable, and she doesn't really like watching that much because we're very over the top, and it feels awkward.
I think if you've ever actually met Amy, you realise she's weirdly comfortable with it. It's very much how Amy talks. But yeah, I think when you see people doing it, certainly if I'm watching you record, and when we made the promo for this course, there were different sections, and in person it feels dialed up to 11. It's like, I think I compared to saying it's not big, it's big, right? So it's not just hello, it's hello, and it's just so much energy behind it. But on camera, it doesn't come across as much as it does in real life. It comes across big, but you want big. But it's you just lose something. I think
I honestly can't explain it. I think it's more something for us in that moment. It's like that joke, you know, when you're at the time, he's like, oh, you should have been there. It's so funny, blah blah blah. It's the same sort of thing. In the moment when we're talking so over the top and so animated, and people are like, "Eesh, that is horrible." I mean, I've done videos, done training for people, and I've said to them, "No, you need to do hello. You need to be really the bigger person." And they've literally gone, "I am not doing that." And I've literally had to say, "You see my hands? Put a bit of faith in them." My old maths teacher, that's what he used to say to me, "Put a bit of faith in these." And they've done it. And what I've done is I've got them to do it both ways. So I've got them to talk. So they've gone, "Hi everybody, I'm James," and I've got them to go, "Hi everybody, I'm James." But straight away, they can see the difference, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how different it is." But it's not until you actually do that, you go, "Wow, I can actually see the difference there." But then, if you think about it from an audience point of view, which would you prefer to watch?
I think the one that keeps me entertained, keeps my attention. I don't want it dialed down to 2. I think mentally I'm just sort of, I'm going to drift off.
Yeah.
So if it keeps me, it builds the energy. I want to watch everyone's live. I want to watch everyone's video. But if it's, if it doesn't have the energy there, I'm gonna lose interest.
It's definitely one of those things that, I mean, for me on my video journey, I really struggled with. I mean, I've got countless videos where I'm like, "Hi everybody!" Oh no, no. And I've done that a lot, and I think the worst thing that you can do is get inside your own head, because it's kind of, you just got to accept that to make the video look the best it can, you've got to do that bigger version of you, and you've just got to tell the little voice inside just to sit in his chair and leave you alone for 20 minutes while you do it. And then once you've done it, you feel so much better. But you watch your video back and you go, "Wow, I really like that. That's got the energy there. I look passionate. I'm talking much more animatedly as well." Because I think that's another thing when it comes to on-screen persona. It's what you do with your hands.
It depends what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of time, the type of videos that I might do, I'm actually in front of a computer, so I'm typing and clicking anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm standing there, I tend to go with whatever mood I'm in, man, to be honest. I tend to keep it in front of me and then just do something to keep my hands occupied.
Yeah.
I sometimes put them in my pockets, sometimes put them on my back, I sometimes just wave them in the air, just because I just don't care. Whatever the mood takes me.
Yeah. I've probably got maybe 3 or 4 different positions that I go to. So this is my common one. Right. I'll stand like this. I'll sometimes do the ones behind the back, but I don't like how that looks on camera.
Okay.
So what I tend to do is this a lot. I've got a lot of this. The pointers come out and I'm pointing away.
Can we get some music? We're going to edit this. We're going to get some dance music in there, because I think we've got a big fish, little fish thing going on.
I think there was.
Big fish, little fish cardboard box.
It's that sort of doing this actually just makes you actually want to listen to it more. But it's human behavior. We talk about hands. So if you know people and all of a sudden they're stood there and just, "Hi everybody, we're here, we're talking about our video project," you're just like, that's not really them. I know them.
And I don't think anyone actually talks like that.
No.
In real life, you take your camera away, and then it's not that common for someone just to drop their hands down and go, "Hello, I'd like to tell you a story." It just feels weird. You're right. You talk with your hands.
Would you like to trade your time? Stop trading time for money, and buy my course, and I'll teach you how.
Yeah.
I think they're the perfect example. They are the perfect. Is it not a one-way street?
Yeah, it's a one-way street.
I'm very confused right now.
We may die on this video. We're on the road, but we thought we were safe.
We actually thought we were very safe. But that's completely thrown me. I was like, "Oh, I did not expect that."
So hands down your side.
That's the choice of a live video.
Absolutely.
It? Yes.
We roll with it, right?
Yes, we do.
You may face these issues, we face these issues, and he's turning around,
and
he's not convinced. He's coming back for us. All right. Well, at least there'll be witness testimony if anything happens to us.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay, so I think we've covered all the points. Challenge for this one. So we appreciate we've got 2 lessons that have gone out quite quickly today.
Yes.
But remember, the last lesson was focusing on audio. So the challenge was for you to get that rear-facing camera, make sure you get the right round.
Yeah.
You're going to record the audio close to the device and then further away from the device. And we were thinking that today, what you could do is make a determined effort. That's not the right term, is it? Like get dressed for how you want to do your videos.
Yeah.
Right. So up until now, we've been kind of saying, oh, don't worry about this bit, don't worry about that bit. The first one we talked about mise en scène and the background, and we kind of went, don't worry about anything else. And in fact, we said, don't even be on camera. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Just focus on this. And the reason we're doing that is to have those component parts that we're all going to piece together. And that's really what Next Wednesday is all about, to bring all of that stuff together. So this challenge is don't worry about anything else, or, pay attention to, of course, backgrounds, audio, that kind of stuff. But we want you to focus on your on-screen persona. Right?
Okay, so yes, we want you to actually think more about what you say and how you say it, how you deliver what you say. So I think the perfect thing would be to do is for you all just to tell us your name, your business, and what your business actually does. That's the perfect thing for you to tell us, because that's what every business owner knows.
Dress the way you've dressed. Tell us how have you come up with that? There are no wrong answers.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually matter what you say, or we're not looking to get you to say a certain thing. But James is going I wear a shirt for this reason. I wear this hoodie for this reason. So just tell us, what's the reason? What's the explanation behind your persona? Is that fair?
I think that's a perfect challenge.
Awesome.
So we're super excited because next Wednesday we get to see you all. So it's 9:30 start here in Middlesbrough.
Oh yeah, we're in Middlesbrough.
We're in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, we didn't explain that.
We didn't even the background.
Typical Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough and everything.
It's not fake. It's not a green screen. We're filming on location. We've raced across town to get here. So for those of you being particularly perceptive, will know that we've changed the location each lesson. We've done that deliberately. We're going to explain why on Wednesday.
We will.
But absolutely, we can't wait to see you. So 9:30 at the STEM. You'll get joining instructions if you're coming in person. So we'll explain exactly what to do. We will be streaming into the group. That will start. We'll explain more about how it's going to work anyway. But basically, we'll be streaming lessons, and then one of us will prompt you throughout the day. So we've got a bunch of people on the day, and a bunch of people watching live, and then you may all be watching on the replay. In which case, you still get lessons, but you don't get to see us.
Sad face.
You still get these lessons. So
that's it.
If you're coming and joining us on day, whether in person or live, we can't wait to see you. Any questions in the meantime? Let us know.
That's right. Comments below.
See you soon.